Hi everyone, this is Nora, your Leap webinar host. We have created a highlights video for you comprising all of the key moments of this past webinar year, and we're so excited to share it with you. A huge thank you to everyone who contributed to Leaping Together in 2025. We're so grateful. We hope you enjoy and all the best.
I would say for thinking about resource management maturity, the centralized model is probably the highest maturity in an organization. It's when you have an actual resource management function that operates independently and provides a service to their internal clients, which are the practitioners that they serve. So the goal of the centralized model is to really have what I would say is a non-biased function, right? That is really focused on the skill sets of the resources that they're staffing, also coupled with the demand, and really making intelligent decisions based on what's best for the clients.
ORAMs notoriously have an enormous amount of information at their disposal or at their fingertips. But in order to do that justice, the processes surrounding it, to Martha's point, need to be governed, the compliance monitored around data, and the integrity maintained, because your insights are only ever going to be as good as the data you're leveraging.
Yeah, for me, skills management is really a foundational topic for any organization. I feel like it's the common thread between sales and delivery. It connects the communication between the two. It really gives an understanding of what the company is providing to their clients and their customers.
A lot of times people focus on the sales forecast, what are we selling? But they miss out on other things, like if you have to do $0 work, or there's a lot of internal projects that are asked of the team. Even though you might not be generating revenue necessarily, there is that demand on resources, and that's often missed in a good capacity model. So it leaves you with like a gap of sorts.
Assigning the right person really greatly impacts revenue and billable utilization. And with this, I think you can take that one step further. And when you look at what those skills are, you get into training plans and cross-training plans, and you get into mitigating risk, right? And when you start looking at those things, you can also get some pretty accurate capacity planning.
It's finding the tangible link between a skills initiative or skills management approach that's actually going to have a positive impact on what the C-suite are saying that they're going to be driving for the business over the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Because once you find that common thread, it's a lot easier to get justification for spend on certain initiatives.
There's a lot of change happening right now across a lot of organizations globally. And what we've been seeing recently is there's a lot of organizational restructuring. There's, sometimes a flattening of an organization where one resource, is not just belonging to a team. And I think Ryan put it really well. They're becoming an asset of an entire organization.
Forecasting is likely the most difficult of all the resource management functions to master, but it's also the biggest opportunity to drive significant value. And, it is the mechanism to allow us to move from a reactive model to a more proactive model. And the two words that come to mind for me every time I think about forecasting is, with effective forecasting comes visibility and comes time. With time and visibility, it's amazing the problems we can solve and the things that we can do.
Resource management as a function is growing, or at least remaining stable, which is great. I think this growth potentially suggests that there is greater recognition of the benefits that resource management is bringing for organizations.
It matches what we are hearing from our customers as well. And I'd say it actually kind of reflects that shift that we've been seeing over the past year, and we saw it in the survey results earlier as well, that resource management is evolving, right? It's evolving from that purely operational function to being more and more recognized as a strategic driver in the organization.
I would suggest is trying to strategize ahead of time, ahead of that pipeline, recognize what's coming down, what might be delayed also. So maybe it's a tough year and the new business isn't coming in. How can I, keep ahead of the times? Where can the resources go if we don't get this contract or bid. So I think it's a lot of that, again, trying to predict the future as well as you can. So utilizing other areas and their knowledge and their perspectives of what could potentially happen.
There's many things that are going to impact how we increase utilization. The level of maturity of our organization as well, being kind of in year 2 and unifying the practice was critical. But Runn was a big piece of it. If you look at, the time from when we began implementation of Runn to when we finished and be able to, have people sort of actively on hypercare and Runn, over that time period, we had a 3.1% increase in utilization. Took a step back after we were on hypercare and said, what would that, if we had to quantify sort of the value of this increase in utilization, what would that look like? And with those components, 3.1% increase, we've got about a 475 person organization from a client service perspective, about a $7.6 million value in utilization savings alone.
Think about the key enabler for resource management is to really think ahead and be adept at looking at what's happening in your workforce, in the market. How is your demand going? Are you getting a lot of new sales? Are you getting a lot of new needs? And being flexible in how you're adjusting to those changes in demand and then also supply.
It's really about how do I set that strategic vision for my direct reports, who are now the resource managers, and then also for the business and for my fellow senior leaders. And how do I help set that strategic vision? How do I paint that big picture to help reach those business goals, to set up my team and the business for success? And so that is a pretty big shift in mindset.
For a strategic leader, having a project mindset and knowledge of how to run projects is important, because a lot of times you're aligning with shifting business needs. And so your work becomes more project-based, where there's a start and a finish, and you then go have an execution team. So understanding some of that project mindset and how to get a project from beginning to end within a time frame, and then get it off to deliver and then be executable.
AI is definitely shaping our world on the professional services side. And if I would want to put my bet somewhere, then I would say that resources are going to be more expensive. And because of that, the need for timely accounting and explaining what has happened, who is working on what, is going to be required on the professional services setup.